This is your WW3 news of a Thursday morning. Now, the Henry Novick case. There's no more public dominion in the United Kingdom. Even American press like Fox and other outlets, they talk a lot about it in absolute disgust. And regarding the killer of Henry, they have some inmates, ex-inmates, they already promised him prison justice. I don't know whether you follow Behind Bars Television. Follow that YouTube channel. Great insight of behind bars, prisons in the United Kingdom, how life is, and the type of treatment which is reserved for this poor chap Henry in prison. I think it's going to be a little bit more worse. What they call prison justice. Now, it looks like it's been deliberately an ex-police officer who resigned. There were stories of one of the four had resigned, but been wrongly identified because probably familiar to one of those there, a certain Christy Hill, ex-police officer of Hampshire police. She resigned in 2024 and she's got nothing to do with that incident because she's no more longer in the police force. And obviously her motivations are how the police force itself, British police force, has let her down a lot. How many good police officers are being let down and swallow this diversity narrative bullshit? Because if you go on the so-called website, Hampshire police, they have to follow particular courses engaging in racist crimes. Every incident should be dealt with the same method. There should be no favouritism, one or the other. Basically, this was old British policing 40 years ago. Obviously, it's been contaminated with diversity is strength. No, diversity is full of bullshit. End of story. It's become an anti-white establishment, or should say anti-British establishment, and tend to defend those ethnic minorities which are purely criminals. Then you've got the Met Police. No, not Met Police. The Chief of Police of Hampshire, which used to be ex-Met Police, unbelievable, expressing his condolences of one of these gangland criminals of London was shot dead by the police. We are so profoundly sorry for the loss of your loved one. Who gives a fuck? It's a criminal. You don't treat criminals with velvet gloves or whatever. And then afterwards, it's the same chap has moved on into Hampshire constabulary, so very cold about the victim of Henry Novick himself. And it's the whole policing them standards. It's a scrutiny now. It's obvious these four officers got it all wrong from the beginning to the end, and their superiors are equally responsible because they have harboured a criminal. And obviously the evidence has demonstrated this wasn't a racist assault, it was all invented. Because these two, one of them two, these Sikh brothers, decided, why don't we turn it into a racial assault? Call the old bill, invent everything up, involve your mum and dad, which didn't work out too well. And results, this killer of this Henry Novick was banned from the Sikh temple because he presumably stole some artifacts, daggers, which they probably found in his home when the old bill searched his premises afterwards, which is mum, absolute careless stupidity trick, hides the weapon of the crime in the house. How stupid can you get? And well, looks like all three of them are going to appear in court for some other charges: possession of weapons, conspiracy of covering up a crime, and so on. If the list was long, if I was the judge. And obviously there's a person of the Sikh community. Looks like these ethnic minorities of the Sikhs, or whatever they are allowed to carry these knives with for religious purposes. No, the Criminal Law Act of 1988 specified you cannot use knives as in self-defense. This was a cowardly attack. The defense has to be proportional as the same level of attack. While this brother, gave me in the black eye and he made my turban fly off. Mate, you already took that turban off before the coppers came. And obviously the false call. What about false assimilation of a crime? Can add that on the charges. And it goes to show this part of the woods, these so-called ethnic minorities, certain members, they can play the racist card to obtain what? Compensation from the government from families which are at the end victims of these type of setups. This is what it's all about. This obviously, it's not just in the United Kingdom. Heads must roll, and who are responsible, police officers, the superiors, are accountable for this shit show. And police procedures must change. They must return the way it was 40 years ago. Good old-fashioned policing, which was a figure of the community in the 60s and the 70s. And obviously when they become politicised, they were considered the black sheep of our society. And all this diversity, strength rubbish is just ruin policing it as it is. Instead of catching hard criminals, you go behind these so-called fake racism claims. It goes to show the status quo itself with this type of political narrative is an absolute failure. You got these so-called migrant criminals running free around, committing crimes. The thing is, the killer was never handcuffed. He was free to wander in the cafeteria of the police station because he was hungry. He should be kept in a interview cell, not freely go wandering around the police station. And while Henry Nowak was dead, all the people should be taken in for questioning. Henry Nowak should have been straight away called ambulance and sent to hospital and a copper to assist that thing there. They got it all wrong.